Hello everyone, it's Prajwal Pathak this side and watching my YouTube channel pyGuru. Friends, this is the second tutorial in the Dino game series, and here we'll be moving further with our game, and we will be building the Chrome Dino Clone using Python and pygame. So we have already coded few things. In this particular tutorial, we are going to add the Dino to our game. So before adding the Dino, I would like to modify few things. First of all, the value of gray here, we have defined it as 172, 172, 172. Instead, I want to define it as 32, 33, 36. Okay, I want gray to be of this color. Then I want to increase my particular speed. I want to make it 5. And if you want, you can increase the FPS to 60. Okay, so let me just try it once again. So this is the thing that we created by the end of the previous tutorial. Okay, in the next tutorial, in this particular tutorial, we are going to implement the Dino in our game. So for this, we are going to create another class. As I said earlier, we'll be creating classes for everything in our game. So class name will be Dino. It will not inherit from anything. Currently, we will create it like this. Def, the first function that any class takes, or you can say the method, is the init method. So here we'll be creating the init method, and the first argument is always the self, and we will be passing two arguments to this particular class, that is the x and y position of our Dino. Okay, then I will keep x and y as a copy in my class, because we'll be needing it when we reset our Dino. Okay, and then I will store the y variable or the y position of our Dino as self.base. So self.base equals y. Okay, once again, the x coordinate of the variable is stored in the self.x variable, and the y coordinate of the for Dino is stored in the self.base variable. Okay, why base? I'll be telling you in a minute. So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to create two lists here. Run list, currently it will be empty, and then self.duck list. It will also be empty. Now what does this means? Basically, we will append some images related to the running of Dino in this particular list, and will append few images in duck list where our Dino will be ducking. Again, for this you have to paste this assets folder in your game directory, and this asset folder, the link for it is available in the video description. You can just go there and download it along with the source code. Okay, so this is the Dino folder, and see here the first three images that we have is related to our Dino running. Okay, this one and this one are related to the Dino running, and the 4 and 5 images, number 4 and 5, are related to ducking of our Dino. So first of all, we are going to load the running of our Dino. Okay, so we can just load it like this. For I in range, see there are multiple images, so I'm not loading it one by one. Instead, I'm just going to use the for loop. So for I in range 1 to 4, here our I will contain numbers from 1 to 3. Okay, so img equals pygame dot image dot load, and then here we have to pass our assets folder, but here I'll be using the f strings assets, then Dino, and here the next thing is our i.png. This is the image that we want to load. Once again, our image is inside the asset folder, then inside the Dino folder, and here I is the number of our image. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3. The next thing that we are going to do is we are just going to resize our image. So we can resize it like this: pygame.transform .scale. Here the first thing that we are going to pass is the image that we want to resize, and that image will be the one that we just imported or loaded. So here we have to pass the new width and height. So I want to resize it like this: 52 pixels will be its width, and 58 pixels will be its new height. Then finally we are just going to append it to our run list. Dot append here we have to pass img now. Now see, there are only 3 images which are related to running of our Dino. That's why we have we are running this for loop from 1 to 4. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to do the same thing for our duck list. So let me just copy these lines and paste it here, and here instead of 1 to 4, I want to run it from 4 to 6. So our I variable will now contain numbers from 4 and 5. Okay, 2 numbers, and here we are going to pass it like this: img. Everything is fine. The only thing that we have to do here is to modify this thing. 70 and 38. Once again, we can further modify it as required in the game. further in the game. Okay, so here we have to append it to duck list. That's all. So I hope we are good to go now with the coding part for Dino. So we have imported all the images. The next thing that I want to do is, first of all, I will create a variable self.index equals 0. Now what does this means? It means the first image that we are going to load is the first image in the run list. Okay, that is the first image that will show on our game window will be this particular one. And after that, let's just load it. So self.image equals self.runList, and here we are just going to pass the self.index. Now we know that run list is a list with 3 images, and whatever image you want to load, you have to pass that index here. So currently we want the image to load at 0 index. Okay. So the next thing is we are going to get the rect of it, so we can get rect like this self.image.getRect. Now we already know if we want to move our Dino, we have to find out this rect. Okay, rect is simply a rectangle around our image, and if you want to move our image, we can just add x, some new position, some new dx and dy, or some new x and y to our rect, and then it will start moving. Okay, that is what we are going to do here. So here, see. Initially, we are taking 2 arguments from the user, that is the x and y position of our image, that is the initial x and y coordinates of our Dino. So here what we are going to do, we are going to make feed this x value to self.rect.x. Okay, so what this will do, I will tell you in a minute. And then the next thing that we are going to do is self.rect.bottom equals self.base. Now what does this mean? See, what I want is, I want to make the x position or the x coordinate of our rect equals x, that is whatever we will pass here, and I want the bottom of our my rectangle at this particular position, self.base. Okay, so let's just try running it, and then I will show you. So the next thing that I want to do is, first let me just show it. So depth update self, let's just pass it currently, and depth draw. This will take argument, that is the window where we want to draw our image. Now this is same as the previous class that we have created here. So here we will write it like this: win.blit and self.image comma self.rect. That's all. That is, we want to blit our image, show our image at this particular x and y position. So to show this, we have to import this particular class in our game. We can import it like this, and then we have to create an object of it. So we can create our object like this: Dino equals Dino, and here we have to pass 2 arguments, that is x and y. So my x will be 50 pixels and y will be 160 pixels. So initially my Dino will be at 50 comma 160. Okay, so the x position of our Dino will be 50 pixels, and the base or the bottom of our Dino will be 160 pixels. So all that we have to do is, we have to just show it to our game window. So let me show it here. Okay, so let me just remove these things here: Dino.update and Dino.draw. Here it will not take any speed, because our Dino will not move along with the window. Our Dino will remain still at one particular position. It will only change its y position and not the x position. So let me just run this game now and show our Dino here. See, everything's look good. This is our Dino. So the x position, that is, as you can see here, the left part of our Dino is at 60 pixels, while this bottom part is at 160 pixels. So that's all. Okay, so now let's try to add animation to our Dino. That is, we will make it run. Okay, we will make it look like it's running. So we have already did it in the last game, that is the Aero Blasters game, if you have seen it. Okay, so all that we have to do is, first of all, we will increase our counter. We will create a counter variable here first of all. So let's just create a self.counter equal, we will initialize it by 0, and then we will keep adding it to 1 to it in each frame. That is, our game is currently running at 60 frames per second. So in 1 second there are 60 frames total. So in 1 second we will add 1 to this self.counter variable 60 times. Okay, so here we are just going to write one more thing: if self.counter is greater than equal to 4, That is, if the value of self.counter is greater than 4, then we are going to load the next image in our game. So all that you have to do is self.index equals self.index plus 1, and then we are just going to mod it by length of the list, mod by len of self.run list. That's all. Now what does this mean? See, currently the value of our index is 0. So when we will add 1 to it, it will become 1. And 1 mod by 3. There are 3 images in the list. So 1 mod by 3 is again 1. Okay. And when the next time we will add 1 to it, it will become 2. So 2 mod by 3 is 2. When we will add 1 to it back, it will become 3. But 3 mod by 3 will again become 0. So it will become a cycle like this. Okay. So our index will keep iterating between 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so it's a simple cycle that we are going to do here. Then all that we have to do is we want to do this thing. Let's just copy this particular lines and paste it here. That's all. So everything looks good. Finally, we are just going to reset our self.counter back to 0. Okay, so when it gets greater than 4 or equal to 4, we are just going to reset it back to 0. That's all. Now if we just run this game, we will see we will add a little animation to our game. We have some error, name x is not defined. Actually here it will be self.x. Okay, because we know that if we are just passing x, its scope is only inside this init method. If you want to make it outside the init method, we have to use the self variable along with it, so self.x. Since we have already stored it as here, self.x variable. Okay, so let's just try running it back, and this time you will see animation is happening here. So yes, our dino is running here. As you can see, we are able to make our dino run. Okay, so it's a simple animation. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to add 2 more things, the jumping and ducking to a dino. So we have to implement the duck and the jump part. Now the thing is, I want to jump our dino whenever I press space key or the up arrow key, and I want to make the dino duck whenever I press the down arrow key. Okay, so that's all. So let's first try to implement the duck, because it's very easy. All that we have to do is here we will take another variable, another argument in the update function, that is, sorry, duck, not dino, duck. It will be a boolean value and its value will be either true or false. Okay, so if it's true, then we have to make our dino duck. If it's false, we will our dino will run normally. Okay, now we will make it, we will pass this particular value here in this particular function, but let's just first implement the duck part, then we will add it. Okay, so let's see how can we do it. It's very easy again. All that we have to do is here, first of all I will write like this. If duck, it means if the dino is ducking, then what we have to do, we are just going to copy all of these values here, paste it here. Okay, so self.counter plus equals 1, self.counter is greater than equal to 4. Instead, this time I want to make it 6, because we have only 2 images, so I want a further delay in between switching the 2 images. Okay, so here I'm just going to make it 6. That's all. Now this particular thing will be the same, self.index, whatever it is. Then self.image, it will also be same. Here the only thing that we are going to change is the duck list. Now we will pick images from the duck list. Again, there are only 2 images inside the duck list, so when the image is currently at 0, it will become 1, and 1 mod by 2 is 1, and then when we will add it 1 to it back, it will become 2, so 2 mod by 2 is 0. So our self.index will cycle between 0 and 1. That's all. Now let's see what else we can do. That is, here first of all I will make it just no, let's just leave it like this. So everything looks good. The only thing that now we have to do is pass this duck variable to it. So now we will just go to our main function here, and here I will create 2 variables. Duck equals false. Okay, another variable that we are going to create is jump. So it will tell us if the dino is jumping or not jump or ducking. Okay, so false, it's also false. So currently our dino is neither jumping nor ducking. The next thing that we are going to do is, see, as I said, I want to make a dino jump or duck jump whenever I press the space key or the up arrow key, and I want to make it duck whenever I press the down arrow key. That's it. So we are just going to code this particular thing inside this event handling. So let's just copy this particular thing. Okay, we have implemented it in the last tutorial. Here we wrote that whenever I press the escape key or the Q key, our game should end. So that's all we have to do here. Whenever I press the space key or the up arrow key like this, I want to make my jump variable equals true. That's all. So jump equals true. Okay, and if event dot e equals pygame dot a down, so I want to make my duck variable true. That's all. Now we have to also switch it back to false. So we'll implement it like this. So we are going to implement it like this. See, whenever we press some key on the keyboard, it is counted as key down event. Okay. However, when we release the key, it is counted as key up event. So that's all we have to do. We have to check for another type of events here. First of all, that is the key up event. If event dot type equals key up instead of key down. Oops, sorry, wait a second. Yes, so key up this time. And let me just copy these lines and paste it here. Sorry, once again, copy and paste it here. This time we are just going to make the jump variable false here, and this time I'm just going to make this particular duck variable false too. Now what does this mean? Means whenever we press the up key, our jump will become true. However, whenever we release this particular key, it will become false automatically. Same for the down key. Whenever we press the down key, the duck will become true. However, when I release it, that is whenever I remove my fingers from the down key, it will automatically become false. That's all. Now we are just going to pass these two things here. So let me just pass the jump and duck variables here. So jump and duck. Now let's update our function here also. So jump. That's all. So everything looks good. Now let's try running it and let's see if the thing is working or not. Nope, it's not working. So it's not working because we have to put it inside the else part. So let's try to add it to else part. That's it. Now let's try running it once again and let's see if it's working now. So we have some error here. Let's see what is here. Okay, the error is this particular thing. Instead of run list, we have to mod it by the length of the duck list. That's this particular error. Now let's try running it once again and let's see if it perfectly works or not. Yes, so it's working perfectly. So everything's look good. Now let's try to add the jump part to our game. Okay, so for implementing jump in our game is a little tweak that we have to follow. That is, we have to apply some math in order to implement the jump to our dino. Okay, so let's see how can we do it. There are a few things that first of all I want to create. That is, first the variable I want to create is self.velocity, which is 0. We will initialize it by 0. Then we are just going to create another variable, that is the gravity. We will initialize it by 1. Now it's only a simple variable. You can give this any value, 1, 2, 3. It will simply make your dino go down very fast if you increase this particular value. Then I'm just going to create another variable, jump height, and it will define how much high the dino can jump. And then I will create another variable, self.isJumping, and I will make it equals to false. Now our dino will only jump when this particular variable is true, self.isJumping. Okay. So now that we have to, the thing that we have to do here is we have to come inside the update function here, and here first of all we will check if not self.isJumping, that is if our dino is not currently jumping, that is this particular variable is false and the jump variable is true. Okay, so self dot is jumping is the variable that we have defined in the init function. However, this jump variable we are taking as an argument from the main function, main file here. So what we are going to do is we are simply going to make our self dot velocity equals to negative of self dot jump height. Now it will mean our self dot variable will become equal to minus 15. That's all. Now what does this mean? We know that in pygame, if you add something positive to the y location or y position of a player or an object, it will go down. However, if you subtract some value from it, it will go up. So that's why we are making it negative, because we want to make our dino go up in the case of jumping. And we will make the self dot is jumping variable equals true. That's all. So we are oops, sorry. So we are good to go implement the jump part now. So see, our self dot jump variable has now become equal to minus negative 15. So what I want to do is since it's equal to minus 15, minus 15 will be subtracted from the y position of our player every frame. So let's say currently it says 160 pixels. It's basically 160 pixels. In the next frame, it will become equal to 145 pixels, something like this. Okay, and in the next frame it will become 130 pixels. So it will keep decreasing, and time will come when the dino will just go outside our window. So we have to think of some way by which we can decrease the value of self dot velocity. And here comes the part of gravity. That is, gravity always pulls things towards down, okay, towards earth, towards ground. So we are just going to do the same thing here. We will make our self dot well equals plus equals self dot gravity. That is, we will keep adding 1 to our self dot gravity. So when it's minus negative 15, we will add 1 to it, and it will become negative 14 in the next frame, then negative 13, negative 12, like this. It will keep increasing like this, okay? And then we will check for something here. If self dot velocity is greater than self dot jump height. That is, if our velocity becomes greater than 15, we know that currently it's negative 15. When we keep 1 to it, when we add 1 to it, it will keep increasing. Like it will become minus 14, minus 13, minus 12, like this, and it will eventually become 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will keep increasing like this. So what we want to do with it, when it becomes greater than 15, we are just going to limit it to back to 15. Okay, self dot jump height. That's all. We do not want our dino to fall greater than velocity 15 pixels. Okay, if it keeps increasing, our dino will start falling faster. We do not want that. We are just going to speed the limit of our dino falling. That's all. The next thing that we have to implement is to add self.rect.y plus equals self.velocity. Self.velocity. That's all. Okay, so now that's all we are doing. Since in the beginning it will become minus, it's negative 15, the self dot velocity. When we'll subtract negative 15 from self dot rect dot y, it will our dino will go up. Then our velocity will become negative 14. Then again we will subtract it from y, and then our dino will move further up like this, minus 13, minus 12, and our dino will keep moving up. However, when a time comes, it becomes 0. And our self dot velocity will eventually become positive, that is 1, 2, 3. In that particular case, our dino will start falling down automatically. Okay, we do not have to do anything here. The only thing that we have to do is we have to check if the dino has reached the ground. That's all. So here that's we are going to check if self dot rect dot bottom is greater than self dot base. That is, if the bottom of our dino is becomes greater than the base position, that is 160 pixels, we have to make self dot rect dot bottom equals self dot base. That is, we do not want to go make the dino go down anymore. Okay, so that's we are just going to limit it the base of our dino, and then finally we will just make our is jumping variable equals false again. So now our dino is good to jump the next time. That's all. So let's see if it's working or not. So it looks good. If I just do it, it seems to be jumping, but not very high. So let's see why it's not jumping very high. So the issue I can think of here is, well, the issue is a very little one actually. It's because we have not implemented a further thing, that is, our Dino is still animating. It's jumping perfectly, but since we have not added anything for jumping animation, that's why it's happening. Okay, so that's we are going to implement it here. Elif self dot is jumping, that is now we are going to animate for the jump part. Here for the jump part I do not want to animate my dino. If you have played the original Chrome Dino Clone, you will see when the dino is jumping, the only image that is being shown on the screen is this particular image, that is the first image. So that's all we are going to do here. We will make our self.index variable equals 0, and then we are just going to make our counter variable also equals 0, and then only thing that we need to do is we just need to copy this particular line. That's all. So after this we can now try once again the jumping part, and let's see if it's working perfectly or not. The previous thing was happening because we have not implemented this elif condition. So it looks good now. Our Dino is jumping perfectly and it is at a particular position. The Y is changing and the X is not changing. So this is it for the tutorial, guys. Though we have to implement few more things like the dead or the collision part of our Dino, but we will implement it in the upcoming tutorials. So yes, this is it for this particular video. In the next tutorial, we will try to add the cactus and the other flying dinosaur to our game. So that's all. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.